Well, hello, folks out there in YouTube land. Got a big show lined up for you. Let's get right on into it. Oh, boy. What a show I've got planned for you folks. Man, there's so much going on. We've got Kentucky has hit rock bottom. The Florida disaster with their five-star quarterback has gotten worse. And we've got 3 5-stars visiting this weekend. I mean, so much going on. It's unreal. So let's get right on into the first thing we want to talk about, which is, I don't know. Do I want to talk about the Florida disaster or the Kentucky disaster? That's not easy for me. You know, I did Florida yesterday, so I'm going to start out with Kentucky. Then I'll do the follow-up to Florida. All right, now, unless you haven't been watching basketball, Kentucky has had a terrible start. I mean, horrible. They have lost some really key games, and they're 1-3 in the conference. And this is Kentucky, you know, the Wildcats with John Calipari. And they got absolutely beat down by Alabama, 78-52. Actually, I've got a little highlight of it that'll show you what happened.
Cut me, man.
I don't want to do it.
Cut me. Cut me.
Yeah, it was a little rough. Calipari said, cut me, Mick. But then, you know, they thought, well, we're coming back to Rupp Arena. Everything will be fine. And then South Carolina got a hold of them. Now, South Carolina is the same team that we beat by 43 points at South Carolina. Well, they go up to Rupp Arena, and they put a little whooping on Kentucky. First time they've won there in probably 100 years. So that was, you know, that was an eye-opener for sure. And the Kentucky faithful, basketball is super important to them, okay? Football's kind of important to them, but basketball, they don't play around. And they are extremely upset up there. And here's the type of articles that you're seeing. This one is from A Sea of Blue. It says, Kentucky's basketball collapse. Where did things go wrong for Kentucky basketball? It says, following the loss to South Carolina, it's safe to say that Kentucky's basketball program has hit an all-time low for John Calipari. And understand, they've got the National Player of the Year that just came back for this year. And here they talk about Kentucky's record versus ranked teams in the postseason over the last 7 years. And they have not performed very well. They've actually underperformed. But this year doesn't really make sense. And here you can see people at Rupp Arena. It says, please go to Texas. And they actually removed the individual because you're not allowed to say anything negative to anybody anymore. You know, the world has kind of turned upside down. Fans aren't allowed to boo anymore. You can't put up a sign. You know, you can't really do anything. I think the Las Vegas Raiders actually removed a fan who held up a sign that said bench head coach Daniels. So the owner of the Las Vegas Raiders had the guy removed. I'm telling you, this world has gotten so sensitive, it's unreal. I mean, I cannot believe a guy buys a ticket and he can't go in there and have a negative opinion when a team's playing like crap. You know, that's just part of it. But, you know, the world we live in now, it's all about feelings. And, of course, ESPN couldn't wait to jump in on this. And they said on ESPN's Michael Wilbon tells John Calipari to give Kentucky basketball fans the double bird as they came to the defense of Kentucky basketball. He said he could give people the double bird if he wants. He could say, I'll walk right out of here. I'll take half these kids with me. How dare you hold up a sign against me? And here they say, I hope it's his last year. Said he doesn't deserve it. The transfer portal being what it is and how it can reshape college sports, he could go anywhere he wants and just have a pop-up store and have a new team. Said he could go to any place in America. And he's a Northeastern guy largely. He could go anywhere and set up shop. And he said at Kentucky, where they go crazy over any little development, they could go crazy over seeing Cal and his pop-up store somewhere else. So, of course, ESPN's going to come to anybody's defense because, you know, they're the most sensitive. I've told you folks, ESPN stands for Especially Sensitive Persons Network. It used to stand for Entertainment Sports Programming Network. It doesn't. That's not it anymore. Especially Sensitive Persons Network. Don't you boo. Don't you have an opinion that's not rah, rah, rah. And I hate to see Kentucky struggle like this. You know, that's the thing. Yesterday I was talking about Florida, and I really can't stand Florida. And understand it's a sports hate. It's not a true hate. I mean, I don't hate Kentucky or anybody from there. I just hate their team and everything they stand for. Well, the same thing with Kentucky. I don't care about any other basketball program out there except Tennessee, number one, and Kentucky. I want to see Tennessee win every game, and I want to see Kentucky lose every game. I will watch Kentucky basketball just to hope they lose. That's a game worth watching to me. So them struggling like this I'm just fine with it. And the nice thing is we're getting ready to play against them. It's going to be at Thompson Bowling. I actually wish it was at Rupp because now's the time you can really get them when they're down, but it's going to be at Thompson Bowling. And it's going to be a shootout. I can tell you Kentucky's going to come loaded for bear. First of all, they're playing Tennessee, which that gets them excited. And everybody's down on them. I mean, this is where they either show up and show out or everybody's going to absolutely rip them to shreds. And Tennessee's playing really well, so I expect a big-time shootout. It's going to probably be like this.
Say when.
That's right. Say when, baby. All right, so now let's get into the whole Jaden Rashada disaster. And this is out of the Tampa Bay Times. Who's to blame for Florida Gators Jaden Rashada stalemate? Unprecedented situation in Gainesville is a product of name, image, and likeness. And there was an On3 article that said that he had asked for his release from letter of intent. But his dad is saying that's not the case. And I actually saw where the amount of money they're talking about was some crazy amount, like $13 million. I'm sitting here going, what? There's no way it can't be that much. And supposedly they won't pay it, or whoever he got the deal with isn't paying up. So I think that's the problem. I think it's money. If I had to guess, it's all about the money.
Jerry, you better yell! Show me the money!
And in the article, it says that Rashada had asked for the release, etc., but his father said he has not filed a request for release from Florida, but they're working through some things with the Gators. And here it says about 13 million things, and there's that number. I'm like, you got to be kidding. According to the Orlando Sentinel, reported through an anonymous source, the value of the name, image, and likeness could be that much. That shocks me. And this is a major problem for Florida because they've already got 24 players that have transferred out and only had 6 come in. This guy is the cherry on the cake of their recruiting class. I think they finished 11th, and without him, they go to about 15th, somewhere in that neighborhood. So they drop big time. I mean, he's a low 5-star, high 4-star, but he's their number 1 recruit, and he's quarterback. So it's very important. And it's not looking too good right now. So we'll see what happens. I'm sure Miami's over there in his ear because he had initially committed to Miami. And Miami likes to buy players. You know, as we know, we had an offensive lineman that we thought we were going to get, and I think Miami just threw money at him. So we'll see what happens. But Florida is in a world of hurt right now. I mean, who are they going to play at quarterback next year anyway? They brought in a 3-star guy from Wisconsin who throws interceptions and is not, he's not a dual threat guy. He can't run very well. I mean, he runs okay, but he's not elite. And then they scored 3 points in their bowl game, so that's what they've got without Anthony Richardson. So it's a mess down there. I hate it so much. Such a shame. Oh, well, I guess they'll just have to struggle. All right, now Tennessee's got a bunch of 5-stars coming in this weekend, and they're going to start out with this fella. This is Williams, and I'll probably mispronounce it, Nwaneri. Nwaneri. I can't pronounce Nwaneri. He's 6'5", 245 pounds. He's the number 1 defensive lineman out of Missouri. He's number 17 nationally. And before you say, oh, we can't get him. Oh, yes, we could. We got Chandavian Bradley out of Missouri. He was their number 1 recruit out of the state, and we got him, so we could definitely get this guy. And at 245 pounds, he's ready to go. I'm telling you, this guy is a beast. And let's take a look at some of his highlights. All right, now we'll look at the size of this guy. I mean, he just goes through that line like it's nothing. And again, when you look at the size of this guy compared to all the rest of them, you can just tell. I mean, there's just no way. Look at that. I mean, it's a man amongst kids. Now, watch him just break into here, and they can't smell blocking him. There's no way. He's too quick. See, he's 245 pounds, but he's very, very fast. And that's a major problem, especially in high school. These poor guys, he's just going to make them look like fools. Yeah, he just throws that guy to the side, and then look at the speed. I mean, he's running down a guy half his size. He gets him. No, you can't block him. There's just no way. That's unfair. And that's what you're going to see with a 5-star in high school. It's ridiculous. But 245 pounds, I mean, he's perfect size for an edge rusher. And he'll be ready to go. It's not like you're going to have to put weight on him. He might actually end up putting on weight and end up being one of those guys that bull rushes in the middle. Either way, I mean, he's kind of a freak athlete. The next guy up is a 5-star wide receiver, Ryan Wingo. And this guy actually has one crystal ball already predicting to go to the state of Tennessee. by Steve Wiltfong, and that guy's good. He knows what he's doing. If he put a crystal ball on there, that's a good shot at it. He's 6'2", 198. He's the number 3 wide receiver in the country, number 14 nationally, and a 5-star. Now, this is the type of guy I'm expecting to get. And understand, if we're going to finish in the top 5, which we need to do next year, we're going to need probably at least 3 5-stars. We've already got 1 for 2024. We need 2 more at least. Ryan Wingo would be a great one. We really need a 5-star wide receiver to come in. That would be something to pair up with Nico. Now, granted, we're going to have great wide receivers regardless, but to have one that's even that much better would be really nice. And I could definitely see him wearing orange. And let's watch a little bit of his highlights. Here you see him right here. This is the type of play you'd see him play at Tennessee, running across the middle. And then he's such a beast, they can't tackle him. The guy's just too strong. He's got the speed, and he's, it's really a total mismatch, of course. Now you can see his running strength. It's just, nope. They really can't tackle the kid. Just total mismatch. And now, like I said, that's what happens with the 5-stars. They're just too much for him. So again, total mismatch. It's just too good to be playing high school football. But boy, would he fit in well with us. I can tell you that. And the third 5-star this weekend is Mike Matthews. He's the number 1 athlete in the country, number 7 nationally, 6'2", 180. This guy could play anywhere. He can play two-way. It's pretty much whatever the coaches want to do with him and whatever he wants to do. I'm sure they'll figure it out. Like I said, he could play defense. He can play offense. The guy's, he's just one of those freak athletes. Fast, unbelievably agile. And we'll show a couple little highlights. All right, now watch this play right here. You want to see a guy make a catch right here. And he's going to catch it right down here. One-handed. Did you see that? Literally caught it one-handed. That's what happens when you get these freak athletes. They just do things that other athletes can't do. Now you're going to see him run after the catch. Nope. 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 Goodbye. You won't be tackling me. And that's what happens when you've got these type of athletes. They just do things they shouldn't be doing out there. That's why they're 5-stars. We've also got 3 other players from the state of Tennessee that are there this weekend. One's Boo Carter, who is a 4-star athlete, and a lot of people are real high on him. You've got Marcus Gorey. He's a very high 3-star, low 4-star, again out of state of Tennessee, and Tennessee's high on him. And then you've got the number 1 player in the state of Tennessee in Edwin Spillman, and his brother is a freshman this year, and he'd be a real nice get. And he's a real strong 4-star. Kind of a high 4-star, and we definitely need to be getting him because we cannot let somebody come in and take out the number 1 player in the state of Tennessee. Those days are over, Clemson. Don't think you're doing that again to us ever. I already told you your days are over with that nonsense. All right, folks, I just wanted to cover some of this news. Like I say, there's a lot going on this weekend, and I hate it for Kentucky and Florida that they're having these troubles and travails. But you know what? These things happen, and I just have to cover them. And if you like this content, be sure to hit that like button. Lets me know to continue to cover the Vols and the SEC, and then, of course, Florida and Kentucky when they're struggling. And if you haven't subscribed, it's right here on the left. A lot of you folks, you watch my videos, hit that subscribe button. Free. Just hit it. Boop, boop, boop. And right here on your right, YouTube's got my most recent video that you might like. It's real popular. Be sure to check that out. And I hope you did like the content. We'll see you next time on Sports Talk Jay.